An atom is the smallest part of an element. Atoms are also called the building blocks of all matter. Talking about the ancient concept of an atom, around 1000 years ago, a great Indian philosopher of India, Maharishi Kanad, stated that matter is made up of tiny, indivisible particles called Parmanu. Param means ultimate and Anu means particle. That is, the ultimate particle which is indivisible. Greek philosopher Democritus also proposed the same concept like Maharishi Kanad, but he named these tiny particles atomos. Atomos is a Greek word which means indivisible. Atomos was later pronounced as atoms. The major contribution regarding the structure of an atom was given by John Dalton. He first proposed his atomic theory in the year 1808. Let's study the main points of Dalton's atomic theory. He said that matter is made up of tiny, indivisible particles called atoms. Atoms are the smallest particles of matter and cannot be divided further. Atoms of the same element are alike or identical, but the atoms of different elements are different. For example, all the atoms of copper are alike and all the atoms of carbon are alike, but the atoms of copper and carbon are different from each other. The number and type of atoms in a given compound are always fixed. For example, water is a compound which is always made up of two types of atoms, hydrogen and oxygen, and always two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen combine to form water. Atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed. Atoms always combine in whole number ratios to form compounds. For example, in CO2, the ratio of the number of carbon atoms to oxygen atoms is 1:2. And in NH3, that is ammonia, the ratio of the number of nitrogen atoms to hydrogen atoms is 1:3. These ratios are always fixed. The properties of compounds are different from those of the constituent elements. For example, hydrogen and oxygen combine to form water. Means hydrogen and oxygen are the constituent elements of water. And hydrogen is combustible, oxygen supports combustion, but water neither burns nor supports combustion. So the properties of hydrogen and oxygen are totally different from that of water. These were the main points of Dalton's atomic theory. One of the points of Dalton's atomic theory is that atoms are the smallest particles of matter and cannot be divided further. But later on, in late 19th and the early 20th centuries, some studies and discoveries showed that atom is not the smallest particle of matter. Atoms are divisible. They are composed of still smaller particles, namely electrons, protons, and neutrons.